The United Nations really considers the issue of migration as one of the crises that we're facing. And the impacts of that and how we deal with this is really important. Migration is fueled by climate incidents, it's fueled by conflict, it's fueled by exclusion and inequalities, it is fueled by contestation over meager resources. It is also fueled by governance deficiencies, and we see this play out across the world. And so the UN really is keen to look at the root causes of why people are forced to move and how through the Sustainable Development Goals we can reinforce shared prosperity, end poverty, end hunger, and build human capability so that people can get jobs and people can trade and also deal with environmental devastation. So the UN sees this as something that governments need to work together on closely to build resilience of people, to include people more and provide better services so that people do not have to move. And if people have to move or are forced to move, then protecting asylum seekers, refugees, and other migrants must be reinforced, because protection and dignified, safe and orderly movement of people is what we all need.
For ordinary citizens of respective countries, when they see these pressures, they tend to point at the migrants to say, if they are not in the country, we wouldn't have been experiencing the challenges that we have. How do you deal with the genuine concerns of citizens, but also taking into consideration the obligations as it relates to international law, human rights, and treaties of the UN?
So our primary focus is really to ensure that we deal with the mobility issues, mindful of host communities and the need to integrate people who are on the move, migrants, asylum seekers, refugees well into society. So there's something we call durable solutions, which is to work with communities, government, and other stakeholders to say any services provided to migrants, refugees, asylum seekers must also be available to host communities so that there's shared prosperity and social cohesion and peaceful coexistence with each other. And I think that's really central, because it is otherwise easy to scapegoat the other or someone who is not from an area. But if people understand why people are moving and that integrating people better into communities is beneficial for all.
When you look at migration globally, are we seeing a rise in this challenge, or are we managing it as the people of the world?
What we see is a rise in the concern around migration. And we also see more and more people on the move in search of better opportunities, but also to contribute ideas and for trading. So if we're talking about, for example, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which looks at better regional integration, it is about integration not only of goods, but also of people in terms of innovators, in terms of traders, in terms of just workers. But the challenge is how it is managed responsibly. So dealing with regularizing migration and making sure it is beneficial. And those are tensions in societies around the world. We see that in Europe, we see that in the USA, and certainly we're seeing that on the African continent.